Welcome back to the Shipyard. One day, I'm going to stop talking about expensive cards to acquire, prize cards, way out of print, boosters, blind boosters in general, um, limited release DS9 crew pack cards. Unfortunately, today is not that day. Today's card of the week, this week's card of the week, is Quark. And Quark is, well, a centerpiece of practically any build, only because he saves you points. He saves so many points, typically three, sometimes two. But those savings are worthwhile. Because here's the thing, just about every tournament build is tight. You always go, oh, if I only had one more point, if I only had two more points. Well, Quark gives you those points. Now I'm jumping ahead of myself here. We always have to look at what the card does. At the start of the game, place one non Borg tech or weapon upgrade with a cost of 5 or less face down beneath this card. At any time, you may discard Quark to flip that upgrade that is beneath this card face up and deploy it to your ship, even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions, meaning if you don't have a slot for it, it can still go on the ship. Now, Quark is a 2-point Ferengi card, and it used to be, ooh, Ferengi, so you were typically paying 3 points for him. But now that Ferengi is a sub-faction of Independent, and captured is independent, well, Quark is very frequently 2 points. And there's just a wide variety of things that you can put underneath Quark that makes him versatile. Yes, there are some staples that go underneath Quark. Projected stasis field, shield adaptation, cloaked minds. I could go on. Well, maybe I couldn't. I'm kind of out of things at the moment. Uh, but there will be a top 10 list at some point, probably this week, of my top 10 things to put underneath Quark. In doing so, hopefully you will see even more utility in why Quark is so good. Um, you know, hopefully this doesn't mess things up too much. But we talked about my top 10 2-point cards a couple weeks ago. Quark was number one on that list. And it really wasn't even a close contest. When I was considering the list, a lot of times I'll kind of make a list and I'll figure out rankings and I'll go back and forth and I'll reorder things. But that list, I basically put Quark at the top and said, okay, can anything challenge Quark? Nope. Nothing ever pushed Quark down from that pedestal. Sakona probably came the closest. But the reality is you can put both in a fleet. And I don't think anything will ever change the way Quark works. And I don't think that anything ever needs to. Quark is just such a good card. And yeah, you can say, hey, they wanted to make these really good cards that came in a $100 pack that made it really hard to get and really expensive to get. Okay, but Quark is really the only card from the DS9 crew pack that anyone ever runs. Very rarely Odo sees a little tiny bit of play. But nobody runs Takar or Vic Fontaine or Tarul or that version of Ben Sisko. Like, they just don't run those cards. Quark is just that good. Now, I really wish this Quark would have been reprinted. The Ferengi faction pack was the perfect opportunity to do it. The Ferengi stuff had been out for 3 years, 4 years, something like that. Um, it's time. But you know what? You can proxy this card for your home games. You can play this on Tabletop Simulator whenever you want. And if you don't, well, I think that local events should let you run these out of print expensive cards. Uh, I felt the same way about like Conditional Surrender, the Creighton, Barrage of Fire, the Chitang, stuff like that. The very old cards, the hard to acquire cards that people just didn't have a lot of. Why not? Why not run it? It doesn't hurt any of us to let other people run cards. You're you're winning on equal footing. Now that's probably a discussion for another time, but it is relevant to talking about Quark. Um, yeah, Quark alone is not going to win you a game. But some of the things I have seen put underneath Quark have been clutch. Jordan Jordan Cott put a copy of Weapon Ports underneath Quark, or maybe it was Joseph who did it. Somebody put a copy of Weapon Ports underneath Quark at Worlds, and it very nearly shifted the tide of the championship match. They kept it hidden all tournament. Nobody knew what they had underneath Quark. And it was Weapon Ports all along. That's a pretty sneaky play. That's a bold choice that you are going to face fighters at some point during the day. Confident. I like it. I like the move. But, boy, that takes something. That takes something I don't have to decide to run Weapon Ports. And you know what? That's why I'm not a top 2 world championship player. For instance, or for reference, I'm pretty sure that was in 2018 that happened. So, um, anyway, Quark has been relevant since the day he came out. He is still relevant today, and I think he will be relevant for a very long time. And he could cost 3 points, and he would still be relevant because paying 4 for him off faction still nets you a savings. And more importantly, gives you that hiding that is very valuable. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.